Somebody asked me the other day how many times you can graft a tree. Here's a perfect example. We grafted these trees about 10 years ago. And here's, as a matter of fact, there's a little bit of tape left. It's just thread hanging there, but here's the union. Right there, you can see the difference in the bark between this bark and this bark. This is the graft, and this is the old variety. Right there's the top of the stump where it was cut off and grafted before. Real good example here of that callousing tissue and how that heals up. And that's why we put 2 grafts on a particular diameter. If it's more than 2 inches, we put 2 so this side heals up and we get no dieback. So now, he made good money on them for a few years, but now the market has changed. There's, I guess, too many of these in production, or they're just not working out for this area or this elevation or whatever, or their marketing program. So we're going to cut them off here. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do some chainsaw work this morning. So we'll cut it off here and here and regraft it, and then have another variety in here. You can see right there where the bark was split, there's a V. When you have a variety in between varieties, the understock, the graft, and then another graft, this piece in the middle is called an interstem. And I've actually, been times we would graft a piece in with less vigor just to slow the tree down. If you have a real vigorous rootstock and you need to slow it down so it will produce fruit, you can graft in a slower growing variety, and then depending on how much length you put in, that's how much vigor you will introduce into the tree. So one time we grafted cherry trees and they were on a Mazard rootstock, which is fairly vigorous, and they wanted to slow it down, so we grafted in an 18-inch piece of Montmorency pie cherry, which is slow growing. I slowed it down enough to produce the fruit they need. Okay, I'm gonna get busy. Glad y'all could be out here this morning. Finally quit raining. It's a little cool. Air's cool, but it's good temperature for working. All right, see ya. Well, Jorge and myself, between the two of us, we just about got this knocked down. We've both been out there sawing for, I don't know, only about an hour. We just about got it done. Oh, that's cherry blossoms in the background you see there. They're not quite full bloom. I mean, well, those are getting close, I guess, but it's a beautiful valley when the apples are all in bloom. Anyway, I was chainsawing out here and ran across something that I've seen many times, but thought it might be of interest to some of the viewers who are contemplating doing some grafting, or at least have an interest in how it works. And I left this tree, I made one cut, and then I decided to leave it until I could get the camera. What we have here is this guy has, this is a really good idea, and I've seen it work really well. He's taken these sucker shoots off of each limb and twisted them together, and that forms a natural graft. You can see where the spirals right here. It's got this twist, and over there, and as I said, that forms a natural graft, and it's very strong. That keeps these from breaking out when they're young and tender. So I don't know if he was just experimenting here and decided to only do a couple of them. I've only seen a few here, but I've seen this done on larger jobs many years ago, and that's just one way to make them stronger. When I was about 12 or 13 years old, out in the woods on our property when I was growing up, we had it's real dense hardwood forest where I grew up in the Ozark Mountains. There's just a lot of oak, red oak, white oak, post oak, you name it, all kinds of oak. And one time I ran across a tree that had come up with 2 limbs, and then they had actually kind of grown back close together, up about 2 feet, and then split off from that with a perfect three-way split from that. And where it had come back together, it had rubbed, and from the wind blowing and rubbed until it rubbed the bark far enough, deep enough to get into the cambium, and then it began to, as it got bigger, it was attached, so they grew together and it formed a natural graft. So what it made was just like a 2-foot long hole, and then it come back together at the top and was grafted together. And I remember cutting that off and flipped it upside down, and I actually made a lamp out of it. So I guess I've been around this grafting thing even way back then. Okay, there's my man. See ya.